Europe's largest airline by passenger numbers, Ryanair, has hit turbulence over its bizarre nationality test for South Africans. The test has triggered massive public outrage. On social media, several users are calling it shocking, discriminatory, humiliating and bigoted. The budget airline has set what it calls a simple questionnaire, forcing South Africans to answer it before boarding UK flights. The test requires South African citizens to prove their nationality. How exactly? The quiz set by the airline has questions on South African general knowledge. Some of the questions include naming the highest mountain in South Africa, its largest city, a national holiday, which side of the road South Africans drive, South Africa's international dialing code, its capital city, the country's current president, and the list goes on. But the airline did not stop there. It went a step further. The language set for this test was Afrikaans. Why is Afrikaans so controversial? The language has long been identified with apartheid and white minority rule. South Africa's black majority views Afrikaans as an unfriendly language of the oppressor, or even a language of white racists. It was forced down their throats at local schools. Black South Africans revolted against things. The June 1976 Soweto uprising is one of a number of violent protests where thousands of black children from schools in South Africa protested against Afrikaans as a language of instruction. Many travelers say the questionnaire brought back those memories.
It's really not necessary, and it's actually it's not unfair. It's just discriminatory, as far as I'm concerned.
It's very discriminatory to a whole host of South Africans who don't speak Afrikaans.
South Africa has 11 official languages. Many say they cannot understand Afrikaans. According to a 2011 census, only 13% South Africans speak Afrikaans as a first language, making it the country's third most spoken language. Zulu and Xhosa are the first and second. Despite the growing anger, the airline has defended the test. They say it weeds out those travelling on fraudulent South African passports. In a statement, Ryanair said that due to the high prevalence of fraudulent South African passports, it requires passengers travelling to UK to fill out a simple questionnaire issued in Afrikaans. The airline said if the traveller is unable to complete the questionnaire, they would be refused travel and issued a full refund. The South African government said it was taken aback by the airline's move, calling it a backward profiling system. The UK High Commissioner in South Africa has clarified that the test is not a British government requirement. The airline has been silent after this clarification. It has been facing accusations of being discriminatory and evoking apartheid, the most painful chapter in South Africa's history. Well, joining us live is Conrad Steenkamp from Cape Town. He is the CEO of the Afrikaans Language Council. Steenkamp, thank you very much for joining us at this hour. Ryanair has defended the test, saying it weeds out those travelling on fraudulent South African passports. If travellers are unable to complete this questionnaire, they will not be allowed to travel. How fair is this?
When I first saw this, I wondered whether it was the 1st of April because it sounded so laughable that somebody would try to use language to determine anybody's citizenship. So the test is completely irrational and nonsensical. It doesn't make sense. It's unprofessional. It's really surprising to see a major company do something like this, apparently without any real afterthought or forethought. So all they're achieving with this test is to kick off South Africa, to kick South Africans who can't speak Afrikaans off flights. Now, if you take the total population of South Africa is 70 million, roughly. About 50 million of those can't speak Afrikaans. 20 million speak and understand the language, but 50 million don't. So it's similar to saying that Marathi speakers, if you can speak Marathi, your passport is legitimate and the rest can go home. Thank you very much. So it's not only irrational, but it is highly discriminatory and it's unfair. It's a disastrous policy. I cannot believe that in our modern times that to experience an incident like this.
What do you make of the angry reactions over Afrikaans being chosen for this test, as it is associated with South Africa's apartheid regime of white minority rule? And it is the first language of about 13% of the country's population, so it cannot determine how South African one really is.
Yes, to be clear here, you can pick any of the languages in South Africa and try and use it in that manner, and the result will be the same. It would be ridiculous. So you can't do it with any of the languages because nobody speaks all of the languages in the country. If I have to do a test in, let's say, Zulu, which is the biggest language in the country, I'm really going to struggle. Now, getting back to Ryanair here, it's actually pretty simple. What they've done. Language is a sensitive issue in South Africa, and Ryanair stuck their finger right into it. So the way they are using Afrikaans, using it to obstruct people and to exclude people, revives very painful memories for many South Africans. It makes them think back to the apartheid era, where language was an issue in politics, and a very important issue.
Well, thank you very much, Conrad Steenkamp, for talking to us. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.